On the face of it, these Muslim countries say, we don't like Israel. They would any day go with Israel, then go with Iran, because Iran is a power that has gone absolutely berserk. There is no logic to Iran. Iran is bad for business. Iran felt that once the Abrahamic Accords came into play, Iran would be forever sidelined and the entire Palestinian issue would have been resolved. Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, in this recent attack that Iran conducted over Israel, more than 3,000 assets were pointed at Israel. I mean, they included ballistic missiles, cruise missiles and drones. Now, according to very credible media reports, it seems that a lot of Arab countries, a lot of Muslim Arab countries actually helped Israel. And why is that so? Today we're going to discuss this very sensitive issue, and Jordan did it, Saudi Arabia did it, and the Jordanian king had to face a lot of abuse on social media, and they had to in fact call the Iranian ambassador, and tell him off and say that this is not done, because Iran was getting all this done on social media. There are layers within layers, and I'm going to read out some of the stuff that the team has collected today in terms of research, and then we'll analyze this. Is very interesting, and I want you to see this video in its entirety. So, cooperation and intelligence sharing. So this is the first thing, cooperation and intelligence sharing. It says several Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, provided intelligence to Israel about Iran's plans to attack. So they had intelligence that Iran was going to attack and how it would attack. And they shared this with Israel, and this was, according to a Wall Street Journal report, this was amongst the main reasons why their assets were shot out of the sky, or their missiles were shot out of the sky. Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE, provided crucial intelligence to Israel. Spearheaded by the US, the cooperation aimed to counter threats from Iran. Now, you would be wondering, it's very easy to paint it as a war between Muslims and non-Muslims. But, and I'm sure at some level, there is a great deal of affinity for Palestine based on the Muslim faith, based on religion. You can't deny that, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's Turkey, whether it's Iran, all these Muslim countries, at least on the face of it, even if they don't help Palestinians, and none of them have, none of them, right? But at least on the face of it, as a formality, would say that we want Palestine to have its rights and we support the two-state solution or whatever. But that's only on the face of it. I don't see them actually supporting Iran, because Iran is the only one recently who has attacked Israel. In the past, in 1967, 1973, there were other Muslim states, Arab states that had attacked, but this time it is only Iran, and people are certainly not backing Iran. Iran launched a significant assault on Israel overnight, deploying hundreds of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles and drones, and they said that Israel's air defense shot down 99%. You know all of these statistics, ladies and gentlemen. And Arab nations, even those with no diplomatic ties to Israel, played a vital role by sharing intelligence, enabling airspace use and providing radar tracking. So when the missiles took off from Israel, or took off from some other place, under Iran's control, and they took off for Israel, these people were tracking it by the radars, and they were passing real-time intelligence to the Americans and to the Israelis. That, these are headed your way. Our radars have got these, let's say, 50 missiles from our direction headed your way. And then the Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow missile systems, they went into operation. That is how it happened. And also, and this Wall Street report points out very specifically that many of these Arab countries and Muslim countries are those that have no ties with Israel, no diplomatic ties with Israel. They refused to recognize Israel, and yet they helped Israel. Geopolitics is never clear. It's always like fog. You don't know who's doing what and for what reason. So on the face of it, these Muslim countries say, we don't like Israel and we don't want to do anything with Israel. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making a blanket statement here. I'm not saying that all of them are like this or none of them are like this. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that on the face of it, many of them will say, we do not recognize Israel. We do not support Israel. But when push comes to shove, They will choose, what they think to be a lesser evil, and that is obviously Israel. They would any day go with Israel, then go with Iran, because Iran is a power that has gone absolutely berserk. There is no logic to Iran. Iran is bad for business. Some Arab governments were initially hesitant, fearing direct conflict with Iran or reprisals. However, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Jordan eventually agreed to assist, paving the way for crucial cooperation, and this is what happened in Jordan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for this Palestinian population of Jordan, there is a sizable number of Palestinians in Jordan, a sizable number of them, and obviously they are very pro-Palestinian, they are anti-Israeli, and they don't like their government supporting Israel or even saying that we will do something for Israel. And they live in Jordan and they have Jordanian citizenship, and yet they do not follow their own country's policies. You see, Jordan has had a very bad experience with Palestine, but there is hardly anything that Jordan can do now. They've settled down there, they've got Jordanian citizenship, Jordanian passports, and they're there. And this time Jordan helped. Some people say Jordan shot down Iranian missiles because, honestly speaking, it's not that Jordan was trying to help Israel. Jordan was actually, they were scared. That is the only word. They were scared. They said that some of these missiles, they don't know where these missiles were going. And when they saw it, they said, shoot it down because it could fall on us. It was that close. And then they started shooting down some of these missiles. That also happened. Despite over 100 Iranian ballistic missiles launched simultaneously, most were shot down by Israel air defense systems. US has been working to build military cooperation between Israel and Sunni Arab states with initiatives like the Abrahamic Accords. Israel is believed to have covert cooperation with Saudi Arabia, indicating a shifting dynamic in the region. Now, you see, the Abrahamic Accords, which are the Abrahamic religions? There is Judaism, there is Christianity, and there is Islam. And when you talk about Islam, you specifically talk about Sunni Islam because Iran is a Shia power. Iran felt it was being left behind. Iran felt that, the power and weight were shifting. Iran felt that once the Abrahamic Accords came into play, Iran would be forever sidelined and the entire Palestinian issue would have been resolved. So where does Iran get its power from? On what basis does Iran have these proxies, and they say that attack Israel and exert diplomatic and non-diplomatic pressure in Syria or Lebanon or Palestine or elsewhere? It is all because of Israel, because they have this anti-Israel nexus which Iran feeds into and fuels. So once that is out of the equation, what happens to Iran? Iran could not afford that. So that is one of the triggers for 7th of October when Hamas attacked Israel. Now, Iran launched over 300 drones and missiles, you're aware of that. Jordan, along with the other allies like the US, UK and possibly France, played a role in shooting down aerial threats. This I've already told you. Jordan opened its airspace to Israeli and US planes and shot down drones that violated its airspace. So obviously, if these missiles are taking off from Iran, you can't cross over from a country's airspace without taking permission. And that is what any country would have done. You can't just enter a country and just because you want to bomb Israel, you violate some other country's sovereign airspace. So they started shooting down, and they actually permitted, and even the Saudis, some reports say that even the Saudis permitted Israeli planes. They permitted anti-aircraft platforms. Different media houses are saying different things, but they permitted anti-aircraft platforms, they permitted planes to use their airspace, use their land, and this is how this entire coalition came together. And there is a coalition. And I'm telling you, if nobody cares about Iran, by the way, let me tell you this. Nobody cares about Iran. The Muslim countries, the Sunni countries don't care about Shia Iran. If Israel may be wanting and itching to retaliate against Iran. But if Israel plays it smart and does not retaliate, for example, does not retaliate against Iran, it will give Israel a handle, get all these Sunni Muslim countries together and hammer Iran economically. Cut off Iran from the Middle East. It can happen, and there are hints that Israel is already working on this model. The Jordanian government justifies its assistance to Israel as necessary for self-defense. Saudi Arabia, although critical of Israel's action in Gaza, may have reason to counter Iranian threats due to long-standing sectarian tensions. This is the Shia-Sunni thing. And they're very clear about it. They said that we have supported it because of sectarian tensions. So all these people, it's a lot of people, when they analyze this conflict, they say, hey, this is a conflict between Muslims and Jews. Yes, it is. But when you're counting Muslims as in Palestinians and Hamas. Palestinians and Hamas on one side, maybe Lebanon also, pockets of Syria, against Israel, definitely it's a Muslim versus Jew issue. I have said it a million times and I'm saying this again. But when you look at the overall context of the Middle East, people don't really, they might hate Israel, that is one factor, but it's not like they love Iran. Iran is a sort of a North Korea of the Middle East. Or areas touching the Middle East. Iran is thought to be, amongst Muslim countries, an irresponsible power, a regime that is despotic, coming from these Arab countries in the Middle East. If they think that Iran is despotic, Iran must be really, really despotic. Because none of them, except for Israel, are democracies. And they think that Iran sings the Looney Tunes, So that is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought I'll tell you that this entire thing, it's now coming out that Iran actually has gotten into the wrong books of a lot of Arab Muslim countries. And when push came to shove, these guys actually supported Israel. It might have been done with a little bit of prodding and pushing by the United States. But Jordan was there, UAE was there, Saudi Arabia, and these are big countries. They have heft. And they came together, they gave their airspace, they gave their land, and this is how a coalition was built immediately, and Iran's designs were thwarted. Now for the question and answers. Dr. Harshal Mehta says, Jai Shri Ram and Happy Ram Navami, Major Sir, to you and family. Thank you, Dr. Harshal Mehta. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram to you and Happy Ram Navami to you and your family also. I know this is a sensitive question in nature, but let me ask you, that is radicalization of Muslim youth a major challenge for national security in India? Why most of the recent times we have found that radical element hotspots is more active in southern belt of our country than in the rest of the country? Why are they so vulnerable to being radicalization despite having oldest culture and languages? I don't know about the culture and languages, but your first question is that is radicalization of Muslim youth a major challenge for national security in India? Yes, 100%. You have people who have joined Al-Qaeda, who have joined Islamic State. Isn't that dangerous enough? So in short, the answer, Dr. Harshal, is yes, most definitely yes. It is a major issue. And we need a broader plan of engagement and de-radicalization. I don't know, Kerala, great levels of education, but maximum number of youth who have joined Islamic State or ISIS are from Kerala. That's the truth. They've joined Islamic State. You never know how many more are going, not just from Kerala, right? It was in Kerala that the Hamas leaders video was shown very openly. It was shown very openly. I forget the name. I think it's a Jamaat-e-Islami affiliated institution, a students' wing of the Jamaat-e-Islami, if I'm not wrong. But they had this live interaction. They showed an interview with the Hamas leader, and they were justifying the attacks on Israel. They said that, you've killed Jews and very good, and they were very supportive. So this kind of mindset is also there. I'm not saying that the Muslim youth in India are generally like this. I'm not making that statement. All I'm saying is that there is a proportion of youth that is highly radicalized, and this is a cause of concern, definitely. Karthik Subramaniam, Namaste Gaurav ji, Namaste Karthik ji. Yesterday's topic on Iran-Israel conflict was great, and I have a question with Iran's recent attack. Do you think Iran might be imposed heavy sanctions? Absolutely yes, sir. Absolutely yes. I think so. Even then, will it have any effect since it's sitting on top of oil that could still keep them going? Now, you see, when you have sanctions, the thing is that, and you say Russia kind of supported, no, Russia did not support Iran. Russia did not support Iran, no. See, I'll tell you, Iran has to sell that oil. In itself, that oil is useless unless you can sell it and get dollars in return, right? So, what they will do is, if they want to avoid a wider conflict, they will cut off routes for Iran to sell that oil. so that oil is not a kind of asset that, Iran thinks it is. Case in point, Pakistan. President Riyasi is going to Pakistan on 22nd of April. He's the president of Iran. And he's going there, and one of the things that he's going to discuss with the Pakistanis is building that oil pipeline. The Americans are going to bear down very heavily upon the Pakistanis, say, you cannot buy oil from the Iranians. That could happen. That could happen. Let's see. Let's see what happens, because the world will respond. If the world doesn't respond, Israel will respond. And the world does not want Israel to respond, because Israel has the planes, it has the manpower, the technology and the brains to actually go and attack. Its aircraft can actually enter Iranian airspace. Iranian air defense is not very good, by the way. All right, it's not great. They actually have the capability to hit deep inside Iranian territory and take out maybe the nuclear sites, maybe the nuclear reactors, maybe, critical infrastructure. They can do that. They can absolutely do that, and nobody will come to know. So, this is what it is. Let's hope things settle down soon. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of my video today. And if you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.